Many people today consider themselves spiritual, consider believing into a higher power, consider believing in energies, in the cosmos, in the universe, in karma which is in itself from a religion, but that's besides the point. A lot of people don't really see it that way. A lot of people want to believe in something, want to believe in a God, quote unquote, but do not want to call it God, do not want to call that thing God. Their beliefs, they don't want to tie it to religion in a certain sense. Why is that? Well, I believe that these people don't want to come to, well, let's say to my religion, Christianity. They don't want to come to Christ. They don't want to come to the church. They don't want to take part into this because, well, first of all, there's the built-up idea of the simple fact that, well, Christianity was oppressive for hundreds of years. Of course, Christians did wonderful things. We've changed the world in many ways. We've invented some of the most important scientific advances in the world. We've done great things. But at the same time, let's say you're someone born in the 24th century, and you have, for example, a Jehovah's Witness come up to your door. Well, obviously, young people such as myself, I'm not talking about myself, but some young people are too afraid to even go see their Uber delivery driver at the door. You really think they want to talk to you about God at their front door? Of course they don't. That's just preposterous. We as Christians should not be shaming these people. We should unite these people. And we seem to often forget that the core value of Christianity, the number one most important value, is at the end of the day, love. It's love of ourselves, of course. But even further than that, it's love of each other. It's friendship. And some bishops even say, you are not truly a person until you are two. Meaning, you need to have friends. You need to have friendships. And for some, that's easier. And for some, that's hard. Today, we have the loneliness epidemic. More and more people stay at home, don't really go out or meet people, don't have a lot of friends. Some don't even have any. They don't really partake socially. They don't have a good relationship with their parents. They feel all alone. And I fundamentally believe that Christians should be the bridge that unites these people to find a community once again. But when I say Christians, I don't mean that we as Christians should profess our faith to them, that we should force our beliefs upon them, that we should make these people feel uncomfortable in a certain sense and shame them into becoming believers, because that is not a loving way to do it. I believe that we Christians should make events. We should prepare barbecues for our communities. There's a ton of events that we could do for our community and just get-togethers in general. And the last thing we should do during these events is speaking of our beliefs, is professing our faith, is telling someone that they should believe what we believe in. Because again, that is not loving of us to do, even if at its core, we believe that if people start believing like us, they will have a better life. Sure, but doing it against their will is not loving in any manner. I do not agree with that, and that's my take, right? You might disagree, but look, I, as an older, how do you say this? I can't find the word. I'm someone who became religious at an older age. Sorry about that. I kind of have the point of view of both worlds. As a child, I was truly annoyed by Christianity. I hated when Jehovah's Witness came to my house. I didn't like people professing in the streets saying that Jesus is coming back to life and everything. I thought that was kind of weird and off-putting, and no one really likes it, honestly, except the people doing it, which is fine, and I respect these people, but I believe this is not the way. I believe the way to unite people is, at its core, to become their friend. It's to make events and get people out of the house. It's to meet them face-to-face, talk to them face-to-face, and it's making real, long-lasting relationships. Friendships, real relationships, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. But it's getting to know these people. It's becoming closer to these people. And once you're close, once that person is dear to you and you are dear to them, and if that person, and only if that person, bridges the gap and asks you about your faith, that you should talk about it. Before then, you shouldn't. You should just act in a loving manner. Because Why am I saying this? Where am I coming from on this take? Well, I was converted to Christianity this way. I was a non-believer. I didn't even believe in a higher power. I didn't even believe in the universe. I thought that was all bullshit. I hated every single aspect of that. I didn't understand a single thing about it. And it's one of my great friends, which I will not name for anonymity cases, one of my great friends who, at the beginning of our friendship, would just be the greatest person in every single event that I was at. He would always be the person that everyone remembers, and no one remembered him because he was the jokester. No one will remember him because he was mean. No one will remember him for buying things. Everybody would remember him for being the nicest guy there. He was authentically and uniquely funny in the way that he was himself 100%, and the way he would show love to other people in such a genuine manner that it was never even questioned. People found it even weird how loving he was to people he barely even knew. I certainly did. But being in constant contact with this person truly changed my life for the better. It opened my eyes to what I could become. And to that person who knows who they are if they're watching this video, again, for the 1000th time, I thank you over and over again, and I love you very much. Thank you. And I hope that this person can be a certain guide for this whole idea. In the sense, I don't want this person to go out and profess or anything, but just use him as an archetype. Be the loving person in the party. Be the loving person in the event. Make people remember you for the love you exhibit, and make it authentic. And if it's hard at the beginning, that's fine. At least, at the end of the day, you can always say, you're trying. Thank you very much. This is the 21st Century Christian, and I'll find you next time.